All right. Greetings. We have about 7:12. That's what my burn from making the apples is looking like. Anyways, we have to do some important work this morning. We need to tie up these tomato plants. We have about 45 minutes. We're going to do our best to get it done. So basically the plan is to stick these guys into the ground. Boom. And we're going to attach a little bit of string from that little metal thingy to this wire, which should not fall like that. We'll use this one here for now. We don't have time. Also, we're going to give these guys a little trim. So we're basically trimming off all the bottom little nods and leaves because they're just simply not necessary and they're taking up a bunch of energy that could be going towards growing fruits. So that is the plan for this morning. They're already falling over pretty hardcore. It also makes pruning a lot easier when you don't have these bottom nodes, because you can just kind of scrape. You don't want to go too hardcore because anything you remove from these guys is gonna be quite a bit of stress to them, but that's why I waited a good amount of time so that they developed a nice little root system, so that if you do this too early and they don't have like a nice little root system going, they could fall into quite a bit of stress and stop growing for a while, which I know from my experience growing other plants. I guess most plants probably work very similarly. So yeah, we want to get rid of these bamboos that are just kind of temporarily holding them up. All these little side nodes, they're really not necessary. They're just taking up a bunch of energy, and I'm not going to allow for more than probably 2 main stems. Stems, whatever they're called in English. But basically stems that grow fruit on them. The rest I'm going to chop out. So we got these 4 guys pretty much pruned. We'll still get rid of this guy here. Now, eye out how much string we need. So we're gonna send these guys over here in this direction. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna eye this out, cut it, tie it to the bottom here. So in the end, there is probably going to be 2 strings attached to this bottom guy, 1 for each of these nodes. But for today, I'm just going to go with 1 because we don't have too much time. So you just kind of want to loosely wrap that around the plant. This lady. And once it's wrapped, you just kind of attach. You want to keep the string pretty loose so that it gets tighter as you wrap the plant around. And then I told myself I wasn't going to make regular knots, but instead of like little ears that you can untie easily, but I cut not enough string for this guy, but that's okay. It just makes cleanup easier after you just kind of untie them. And see, this guy is fully supported. That's nice. And as he grows, you just kind of wrap him around this. See? Boom. And you'll be able to go right to the top. So onwards, that's the plan. Stick this guy in the ground. Eye out some string. We'll take a little extra this time, because I forgot to account for the fact that you lose string as you wrap. So wrap it to the bottom. Tie it to the bottom rather. And then, see, at this point it gets a little tricky because I have a bamboo in this one. And I gotta remove the bamboo, kind of hold it carefully. Hold this guy upright so he doesn't fall over as I tie this. So this can be a little tricky actually. See, once you got a few wraps around the plant, you can kind of just hold on to the string. See, it's kind of one with the string. And then we just, boom. You kind of want to plan out with the string which direction you want the plant to grow in. So I'm pretty happy with that. Make sure that each have enough space. And I'm going to try to do a little, see, I'm making it too tight again. The string could actually be quite loose, and it's not really a big problem. So that'll be fine. It's a little loose. I'm just gonna do regular knots for now. There we go. It's a little bit loose, but it'll do for now. It'll get tighter. I'll tie it a bunch of times as it goes to tighten up the string. Next one. And basically we got to do this a bunch of times. I got 26 plants, and 2 of them I'm gonna probably skip for today just to save time because the plants are still pretty small. Boom. But let's see if we can't get most of these done. Oh, we had a pretty successful day yesterday. We drove to acquire our meat for the month with my friend this time, because it's about an hour and a half drive. And to save on gas, I convinced my friend from work to drive with me. We actually took his car and split the gas. And we bought a bunch of venison. It's like I said, it's about an hour and a half drive. And the prices are like 40% less than you would pay for the exact same meat in a supermarket. And I think the meat is quite superior. So, nice, see, this guy's nicely attached. We can remove this. And boom, he's standing. So I bought like about 40 kilos of kind of stew mince. Not mince, just like venison that's chopped up into small pieces. And I just slow cook it in a big glass pot in the oven for like 6 hours. Or lately I've been making it into basically ground venison, and I just make like one huge burger out of it, like kind of like a ground meat roast, which has been really nice. Just add garlic, just a little bit of pepper, and that's really all it needs, because the meat is so tasty. And I'll make like 5 kilos at a time. 3 in one container. Oh, see, we're a little short on string on this guy, but it's okay, we'll just do a shitty knot. Basically, I make Monday to my full work week's worth of meat at once, so I don't have to cook meat on the week during the week. Boom. See? And he's standing. It's a little, it's okay, it's not too tight. And you can kind of move these strings as it goes along these little wires, which is really convenient. So yeah, we have 4 of these guys. See, this guy's a little loose. I'm gonna see if we can't tighten this up a little bit. Oh, I know what I'll do. Just tie it around that. Boom. 4 of these guys are standing on their own. All right, so we'll start off with the haircuts. Remove all these bottom leaves and stems. Anyone that's grown pot will know this is called basically lollipopping. Remove all the bottom stems so that all the energy gets focused to the top. Let's do this guy right away. It just makes for a much better yield. There's no need, really, these bottom stems don't get much light. So there really is no need. It's not that there's no need for them. Obviously, if you wanted to keep it all like as natural as can be, you would leave these guys. Nobody's removing them when they grow without all this human intervention. But if we're trying to maximize yield, which let's not lie, we are, then we do a little bit of intervention. Let's do all 4 of these, 4 at a time. So this is necessary at this point because they're just falling over. They're growing pretty fast. There's a decent amount of tomatoes on a few plants already. Little green guys, but for this time of year, it's pretty good. Cannot complain. So this is the kind of stuff actually, it's pretty fun when you grow tomatoes. Kind of more technical work. So yeah, lately I've been basically eating a kilo of venison a day, which is kind of crazy even yesterday. Because I was there about 5 weeks ago, and last time I was there, we got a little bit of ants here, but nothing too crazy. The last time I was there was about 5 weeks ago, and I bought like 30 kilos of meat, and the lady's like, "You ate all that already, or did you like give some of it away?" And I was telling her, like, yeah, I pretty much eat like a kilo of this stuff a day. And she was just like, pretty much a little bit in shock. But as you can kind of see, I'm not overweight or anything. I just, for some reason, for some reason, I've gotten my metabolism to really work very quickly. And anything I basically eat gets used up right now. Sometimes I actually have to force myself a little bit to eat a certain amount because I kind of know by now how many calories I need not to lose weight. And I'm not really trying to lose weight, because I think I'm kind of thin enough at the moment. So right now I'm at like a kilo of meat a day, 10 eggs, 5 in the morning, 5 in the evening, 5 in my first meal, and then I have 5 as kind of like a supper meal. I'm also doing a recent addition of half a liter of raw goat's milk every day, which is a lot of protein, but it's been disappearing. I mean, disappearing. It's just getting all sucked up by my body. Now I'm starting a little bit of rotating in the type of carbs I eat. So I did like 2 weeks straight of sweet potatoes, which was kind of rough. I love sweet potatoes. They're so gosh darn sweet. And if you want to have like a meal that's not super sweet and you have sweet potatoes, you have to add a ridiculous amount of spices. And then that shit can make you burn later. And it's just kind of becoming a pain in the ass. So I'm gonna be alternating now between I'm doing a little bit of buckwheat lately. I can get some really good organic, locally grown buckwheat, which is a gluten-free grain. And I do find I do better not using gluten. My neighbors are out. Now let's get this tied up. Gotta fix these windows. It's pretty awkward when neighbors are like right behind that wall. And I have a broken window right there. But what can you do? Alright, 6 plants down. 7:30. I don't know if we'll finish. We'll see. Do the best we can. I'm also doing a lot of fruit. I got my hands on some really good organic plums and figs that are not they're dried, but they're really soft. They don't have that much moisture removed, which is really nice. Because most of the dried fruit I eat, I try to kind of rehydrate it before. And I like dried fruit more than stuff that's not in season. Because not in season, but kind of unripe fruit from the market. Because dried fruit is picked ripe. Alright, get this bamboo out. Boom. And see, here we have a third node, which does have flowers on it. Maybe we'll do 3 nodes here. Maybe we'll do 3 nodes here. We'll leave it for now. See, it's already got flowers. What should we do here? We're gonna leave this node. We're gonna leave 3 on this one. Looks like a pretty strong, healthy plant. Okay, on to the next one. Boom. So I have 26 plants. We're doing number 8. We'll see how it goes. 26, 2, I definitely don't have to do. Maybe 3 today, just because they're not very big yet. The cherry tomato plants tend to be smaller at the start, but they do kind of catch up later on. Okay. Boom. All right, that's 8 plants down. Time to give the next few plants haircuts. So we got a bunch of stuff to remove here. These guys got hairy. Oh, the sun is coming out nicely. So this guy is basically barely standing. I might as well pull some of these weeds. Spike goes in the ground. Ah, motherfucker. Cocksucking, sorry. I fucking hate these. I don't hate them, but I should probably wrap them with something. It's not good for the brain. But not our first, not our last. But let's remember it's there. Trying my best not to swear too much. Just, not that I have anything against it. Just not something I want to overuse. Alright. Oh, it's gonna be a warm day. I think they're saying like 27 degrees. Alright. On to the next one. I think we'll just do these haircuts as we go. Boom. Oh, we also bought yesterday 10 kilos of bones, and these are all bones that have marrow in them, so they're like limb bones. 5 kilos from, when I say venison, there's kind of, Poland has kind of like something like elk called jeleń. It's like you have regular deer, and then the jeleń is basically like a much bigger type of deer. It's not quite up there with a moose, but it's kind of elk-like. And I bought 5 kilos of regular deer bones and 5 kilos of the elk-like bones. And I have 2 kilos cooking right now. I use those for bone broth. I always like to have some bone broth in the fridge. So I'm curious how, and they actually had a decent amount of meat on them, which was a pleasant surprise. And they're really cheap. In fact, actually the lady, was a really nice little thing, because I was looking at my receipt after paying, and I was like, I wasn't sure, because I was buying a bunch of stuff. I also bought a bunch of liver, which I'm gonna be eating today. But basically I was looking at my receipt, and I'm like, it seems she only charged me for 5 kilos of the bones. And for like a second there, a little bit of my old self kind of kicked in, and was thinking whether or not I should say anything. And I'm not gonna lie, probably for like a minute, I thought about it. That's just the truth. But in the meantime, she was ringing up my friend. And then I was just like, nah, man, this, if you don't say something, it's gonna grind at you. You're gonna end up calling them back and telling them like, oh, you made a mistake, so just get it over with. And I said to her, I'm like, oh, I think you just charged me for 5 kilos of bones instead of 10. And she looked at me and she was like, "Oh, I see you gave that thing a good look, that receipt a good look over." She's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. I gave you five for free, 5 kilos for free," which was really nice. And right away I had like a huge sense of relief. But it was interesting for me to see, like, maybe when you were not the most kind of, not the most, when in your past behaviors, maybe you're not that honest and you would take advantage of things like that. It's interesting to see that old side of you try to creep up, which is basically like the ego, just trying to be like, "Hey man, we won this, we got a little freebie." But there's no freebies. That would have been a bunch of like negative karma. It would have just been rotting away inside you. And I was really happy with myself. And got to have that nice little, I mean, I'm sure that if I didn't say anything, she would have had little thoughts of like, I wonder if he noticed that I gave him those for free or not, and just didn't say anything. So we got to have a nice little honest exchange. It was really nice because, I mean, we did buy like a bunch of stuff. I spent like quite a bit of money there. I bought basically a month and a half's worth of meat. And I eat 1 kilo a day. So that's a lot of meat. That was really nice, just thinking about that, like how much I would have regret if I didn't bring that up. I probably would have ended up calling them back and been like, "Hey, can I transfer you the rest of that money?" And gladly, we didn't have to do that. My friend bought significantly less than me, but the truth is he doesn't even know if he likes venison. He's kind of just assuming he does, he will. But if he doesn't, then I'll buy it off him, so it's no biggie. I gotta get some more of these spikes. Let's give them their haircuts. Do a little time check. 7:41. We can do this for about 20 more minutes. I mean, we'll get done what we can get done. Can't do more than that. Still gotta finish packing a little bit of my lunch. Today I'm actually eating I got like 600 grams of the deer liver, and then I have some frozen turkey liver also that I defrosted. So I'm basically eating like close to 1 kilo of liver today, which is a lot, but I don't eat liver that often, probably like once a week max, maybe even, these are guys that I don't have to tie up, but too late now. But we're gonna skip the next one. But I didn't have time to prepare any meat yesterday. By the time we got back, I'm just gonna give this guy a haircut and I'll skip him for now. These are the cherry tomatoes. See, they're still standing on their own pretty well. So I'm just gonna leave that guy be for now. And we'll go on to these guys. See, I didn't have much time to prep food yesterday. Actually, this guy we're gonna leave too. We're gonna leave. We'll just give him a haircut, so he's growing faster. But any of the smaller plants, if we have time, we'll come back to, but I don't know if we'll be able to get all this done today. So I didn't have enough time to... Actually, you know what? We'll give him a tie-up. Actually, we'll see. He's not doing the best, but there are bigger plants over there that need more help. They didn't have time to prepare any meat yesterday, and the liver was from a deer that was actually shot yesterday. So it was unfrozen, and I had to, because I bought like almost 3 kilos of liver, I had to portion it out and freeze it yesterday, which took quite a bit of time. We still hit a workout, which obviously took quite a bit of time, hit the sauna. I don't know, it's important for me. I guess I could have skipped the workout, but I have a hard time eating as much as I need, I guess, to feel satiated, if I'm being honest, if I don't get a good amount of physical labor. And even yesterday, as we went there, because basically the reason that the deer was able to be shot yesterday is because the place we buy the meat from is like one of the places that basically hunters, all the local hunters in the area, they can go there and sell off basically anything they've killed legally. They have tags for and they're not going to use. That place buys it up, and then they kind of piece it out and distribute it. So you're getting like nice fresh meat. So the liver we got, I already had a bit today. It was delicious. The liver we got yesterday was literally just shot probably hours before, and they packed it up. It's like super dark. The deer liver is like black. We're gonna hang this guy up. So I had to portion all that out into like 600 gram portions or so. And I didn't have time to prepare my regular 5 kilos of meat, which I'm gonna have to do today after work. Hello, spider. I wonder how many of these will get done. We got like another 15 minutes max. It's a little on the tight side. Sometimes I forget to give enough slack in these strings. See, now there's like a little too much slack, but I can always come back and tighten that. There's quite a bit of slack there too, but that's okay. Yeah, it's much more convenient having an actual tripod. It has like a little handle you can move the phone around on, so I don't have to touch the phone every time with my dirty hands. Well, they're not dirty, they're covered in dirt. So I guess technically they are dirty. That's funny. All right. Let's see, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 plants left. And we've done 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Minus the one we skipped. We'll see. It's 7:47. I can go to like... I'd like to be done by 8 because it's pretty important for me. When I try to get a little bit of reading in every morning. I have a problem with like retaining information when I read, and I find really the only time it gets, especially if I'm reading something like esoteric, out of this world, the only time it really sinks in is in the morning. All right, let's see if we can successfully pull this out. Boom. Beautiful. That's nice. See, this is a big boy. Haircut time. So we got a really nice chest workout in yesterday. I usually don't work out. We got back from that place. Oh, I didn't finish. When we got there, the people that were working in the warehouse were on break. So we had to wait that 30 minutes. But then she remembered that we also have to wait another 30 minutes because after the warehouse people get off break, the people that cut the meat up go on break. So basically we had like an hour and a half in the end to kill. But this area has like literally, I try not to overuse that word, but literally across the street, you walk and a national park starts. And it's like a beautiful national park, the nicest in the area. So we got to visit that for about an hour and a half. And we ended up walking to, I guess technically it's like a quarry, but it basically looks like a little natural lake. And oh man, got my first swim of the season in, which was really nice. It was a really warm day, so just took my shorts off, went swimming in my underwear. It was freaking awesome. So we actually got quite a bit of good movement in, which was nice after the drive. Hour and a half drive is each direction. It's quite a bit. All right, onwards. Onwards. We're flying pretty well. Let's see if we can get a few more done. Man, this guy is hairy. Oh, I almost chopped his main stem off. When it gets like super hairy like that, you gotta be careful. Wow, this guy had a little bit of flowers. I believe this is gonna be some sort of cherry tomato plant. And I'm still gonna remove a bunch of these bottom guys. Even though they do have little bits of flower on them. Now let's get rid of this guy too. They might fall into like a tiny bit of stress for like a day, but they should bounce back pretty quick. Okay, this guy probably we could have skipped for today, but let's just, I mean, nothing will happen. Man, I wasn't even supposed to do a greenhouse this year. Here we are. But that was another thing that I kind of knew. If I didn't do it, it was gonna bug me. Because even if you do, if you don't sacrifice that much time, you could still plant a few tomatoes and just kind of forget about them, tomato plants, and they'll still grow something. Which was kind of the plan. I was just gonna kind of be like, oh, I'll plant a few plants and just leave them. And here we are, tying them up before work. What can you do? Sometimes you're called to do something and you just don't have a choice. All right, peace out. Now let's get rid of this downward growing. I'll get rid of this guy too. We'll get rid of this guy too, as long as you leave a decent amount of leaves. See, this guy's got a good amount of flowers. As long as you leave a decent amount of leaves, so they can do their photosynthesis thing, they should be all right. I mean, they should be. I know they will be. It's not my first time doing this. This is basically my third time around. Last year was, I don't want to say not successful. It was successful. I had quite a bit of tomatoes and I was able to sell a good amount of them. Actually, to my main customer was my friend that we drove with today. But I had like 60 plants in here last year. This year I have 26, but last year I kind of took a quantity over quality approach, which very rarely, if not ever, works. And I could have still had quantity and quality last year, but we were boozing, we were smoking a lot of weed, and we just didn't put the work in that was required to maintain that. And the main work, like you have to trim these leaves regularly, or they're just not gonna grow as many tomatoes as they could, because all the energy is gonna go, a lot of energy that's not necessarily needed is gonna go into just maintaining the foliage, the leaves. And this year we'll see how it goes. And try not to think too far ahead. Just kind of do the best you can the day that you're doing it. And that's really all I think that you can do in life in general. Just do the best that you can in the moment that you're doing something. No point of really thinking back or forward. Just do the best you can. And right now, in this moment, this is the best we can do. Okay. Onwards. I think if we go to like 7:55, if we go to like 8:15, could probably get them all done. But it's not going to be the end of the world if we don't. This guy's got a good amount of tomatoes as well. All right. Good amount of tomatoes. I mean, look at these little cherry tomatoes. I don't know if you can see them there. I think these might be cherry tomatoes. I'm not sure. I came to an understanding with Agnieszka, my friend, that grew a lot of these seedlings, majority of them, that it's not that important for me to know the actual names of which tomatoes are which. And so I got rid of the little tags she made for each different kind. And she survived the news and understood. Actually, I talked to her before I got rid of them. It would just be quite a pain in the ass to work around them when you're pruning, and there's not really a good way of, I don't know, like you can only really stick them in the ground. All right. Look at this hairy moth. We got our heart breathing meditation done today. Another day. I'm keeping track of these heart breathing days, kind of doing this little experiment. 30 days of like really consistent dedication to a certain meditation practice. And I've never really done that before, like actually just picked one and really focused on it. So I'm interested to see what will happen. I've been listening to a decent amount of podcasts about meditating, and I heard some interesting stuff the other day. It's like a lot of people, they sit there, they just kind of tell themselves, I just can't clear my mind, which I totally get, because I have a huge problem with that as well. And this guy's like, all right, well, maybe you need to, this meditation teacher, maybe you need to try harder, which some people are like, oh, but isn't meditation the whole point of it not to try and just to kind of observe? It's kind of, according to him, which I get, it's like anything, it's something you need to practice. And if there's anything you've ever gotten good at in your life, well, he's like, let me ask you, did you have to practice? And how hard did you try? And the answer usually is like, if you've ever gotten good at something in your life, that you had to practice a shitload and you had to be dedicated and you had to kind of give it your all. So when those thoughts come up and you're meditating, you can't just like, it's part of the you can't. The way he explains it is, you can actually take the approach of trying harder. Like you notice that thoughts come up. Well, guess what? You can try harder and harder to keep your awareness focused, not on those thoughts, but on the awareness that you're noticing those thoughts. And as that kind of awareness muscle gets stronger, you should have more periods of, shall we say, thoughtlessness. And that's really something I've been working on, like noticing when you're starting to engage a thought instead of just being that awareness and being like, there's that thought. Now let's go back to our practice and forget about that. Let that thought pass. Because the mind is always going to create thoughts. And all you can do really is not engage them. Because that's where it becomes a choice. And that's what you can practice. Not engaging the thought and just knowing the difference between when you're aware of it and when you're actually engaging it. And that's what I'm really focusing on in this heart breathing stuff. Like really trying to focus on the actual practice of visualizing, kind of energy coming in and out of me. And every time I get a thought, that's not really by choice, but by programming from the experiences I've lived, being aware of that like as quickly as I possibly can. And letting it pass. Not fighting it, not trying to like suppress it, but just noticing it and being like, we don't need to think about that. Let's go back to our practice. And today was a pleasant one. I'm not gonna say today was day 3 of doing that. And I'm not gonna say I had some like mind-blowing experience, but we did it. And for the next little while, it'll be interesting to see if we can actually even just not force ourselves. Forcing yourself might even be the right word, but force ourselves to really stick with it. I mean, it seems counterintuitive to use such words as force yourself when you've been talking about meditating, but oof, that was a close one. But we live in these unnatural times where we have all this info coming in. 8:02, we're gonna push it. We only got 3 of these guys left. 3. 2 guys left. We got this. Fuck yeah. Oh, and I have an idea for a great little reward. Boom. Last 2 guys. This guy right here has some. This guy has the biggest tomatoes of them all. Look at that. The biggest tomatoes of them all. I had a little ant infestation over there, and usually I fight them off. I'm just thinking about it because I see some ants here, nothing major. But usually I fight them off. Usually the way I did it last year. I don't want to sound like I'm some pro, but I used cayenne pepper and cinnamon. And this year I had a really bad ant infestation on the other side, right across the greenhouse. On a tomato plant, and all I really did was every day I would dig up. Luckily it was like right beside the roots, not really in the root system, but I would just dig up their little house that they're trying to build, ant farm, kind of talk to them a little bit like, come on guys, you gotta move. And then I'd pour a bunch of water onto it. So basically I would just become a nuisance. Boom. This guy's kind of loose. I'm gonna tighten that up. I just become a nuisance to them. And for the most part right now, it seems like they have decided to jump ship and move somewhere else, which is really nice because I don't really think I really killed any of them. I just rehoused them. All right, guys. I'm talking to myself maybe, but that's okay. Last one. Oh, we actually did it. So let's tie up this last guy as a reward. I think we're gonna have a few. I saw a couple nice strawberries growing out there, and I think that's what we're gonna have in just a few minutes. I should get rid of this. All these leaves I cut. Boom. Look at that. We freaking did it. We freaking did it. Let's get rid of these bamboos. Do a really quick 5-minute tidy up. If I leave this stuff in here, it's going to create a bunch of humidity. We'll clean these guys up later. Boom. We're freaking happy with ourselves. We got our, it's not our rake actually, we borrowed this guy from work. Not a bad start to the morning. Look at that. Look how many leaves we actually removed. That's quite a bit. Actually, I'm just gonna throw these guys out the back for now. Clean them out a little bit later. Boom. Man, we are happy with ourselves. All right. Look at that. So much tidier. Let's see what that's looking like. Oh, look at that. So pretty. Oh, nice and tidy. Nice and tidy. Man, some of these guys are getting big. Our pepper plants are actually coming in really nicely. I mean, look at that. These little cayenne peppers. They're forming really nice little fruits. Look at that. Little peppers coming in. Anyways, the bees are also loving. They're just loving this. This is a rose bush. I mean, you can just hear them, right? Look at that. Little rose bush, and quick little reward. Look at this. Boom. Strawberry. Strawberry. I don't know if you can even see that. Oh, look at that. Strawberry. Oh, yeah. Look at that. That'll do for now. A little reward. I'm going to give these guys a little rinse because they're covered in sand, and have a great day.